Porch is live. The Porch is live. Hey, Steve, why don't you take that stupid bungle sticker down?
No way, man.
Put the porcheslive.com. The Porch is live. Come on, man.
Come on, baby. The Bungles are back.
We are
Just
on
like
the porch. We are on the porch. Week 1 of the NFL season is almost in the books. Almost in the books. Can't believe it. Thankful you're here. Thank you for listening on American Busker iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio, 150 million subscribers, 2,000 devices, 150 different platforms. And we got a lot to talk about.
We sure do.
And but first thing we want to point out, catch the Sports Porch podcast on Spreaker, iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcasts. Catch up with us. Listen to it in the car. I listen to it in the car all the time. How about you guys?
I'll
take that as
every now and then.
I mean,
you
maybe
put it
not
on.
in the car.
Yes.
Maybe
Right.
if I'm like at my desk and I just want to listen to us. When I'm at work, I'm doing some mindless things.
Mindless stuff.
Yeah, because when you're at work, you do mindless things. You save the real work for when you get home.
I do a lot of mindless stuff all the time.
Yes.
And we got a couple introductory comments in here, and then we're going to jump right into it. BT, Brad Trombley, 3 weeks till Berg bound. Can't wait.
Yeah.
My son is pumped up.
Awesome, Brad.
Tim, and I'm not putting those comments up. There it is. Tim Pomato from Palmetto. He is in the house checking in. Thanks. Steve, obviously watching us from Chicago. Go Bears.
Hey,
they did have a good week.
Hey.
They beat the 49ers, which kind of blew me away.
It's a big win for the Bears.
It was pretty fun the way they did the slide in the rain at the end.
Did you see
Yes.
that?
Yeah. That went viral.
Crazy.
Make sure to check out theporcheslive.com. That's our website where you can get your own Sports Porch Guy in the Middle mug or Sports Porch t-shirt and subscribe to our email list. We're building that as we go. So, guys, listen, let's jump right into it. We are a Pittsburgh-based sports show, so we're going to start with the Steelers. And you know what? As soon as that game was over, no lie, I don't think I've ever done this in the 30 years plus that we've known each other.
Okay.
As soon as the Steelers game was over, I called Steve.
Did you?
Because that was the hardest game I've ever had to watch in my life. It was like pulling my own teeth out with no anesthetic. It was actually hilarious
on my end because
you weren't even watching the game.
I wasn't watching the game. I follow another team, so I taped it and I watched the tape afterwards. But what I was doing was I was watching it like on a ticker where I couldn't actually see any plays.
Right.
And like the whole thing was just like, okay, it's 2nd and goal from the 1. It's 2nd and goal from the 2.
Right.
It's 2nd and goal from the 3.
Yeah.
Okay, what now? Oh, missed the field goal.
Yeah.
It was like, and that continued to happen.
I know. Listen, it was
it
was crazy.
That was one of the hardest games I've ever had to watch. How about you?
I mean, from a Steelers perspective, the last game that was kind of like that was when they beat the Bungles in that playoff game where Perfect and Pac-Man Jones did the doofus thing at the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
Only the Steelers kind of, did some good things instead of the Bengals just doing dumb things.
I mean, I would say that
would probably be the closest thing as a Steeler game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought of. I thought of that playoff game. And I thought, you know what? I don't know that there's 2 games out there that I can even think of that were like sure wins, Bengals over Steelers, that they somehow found a way to blow. I mean, missing an extra point.
They didn't miss it. It got blocked.
Yeah, it got blocked. But
it got blocked because of...
He missed it because it got blocked.
But it got blocked because the long snapper was out and the whole cadence was
let's dive into this. And of course, Yo
Carey's
in the house, and he says Boswell. He did not pull his groin. Of course, Richard in Mechanicsburg is like, we're leading off with Bucko talk, right? Yeah,
Wrong.
Sure. Tim Pomato says incredible game. The boys play their hearts out. Look, I'm going to start by putting this up on the ticker because I really. I think this is where people are going. How do you feel after the Steelers win in Cincy? And what I'm going to say is this: that defense, and we'll talk about the Watt injury later and the prospects of what's going to happen or may not happen there. But that defense played its heart out. I mean, they really took it to them. Okay, so the good part for me, the positive, the defense looked like it got off to that elite start that we all wanted to see. They were handling the running game. Now, Mixon ended up running for like 85 yards. Mm-hmm. Still, they were handling the running game. They were putting pressure. Admittedly, Burrow's offensive line, I think I said it, I texted you guys during the game. I think Cincy's offensive line is almost as bad as the Steelers' offensive line. Maybe even worse. Right.
It is worse.
And I felt like the defense, this is a good sign, because if the defense gets off to this kind of start and we can ride this, they don't have to be elite, but to be in the top 10, that bodes well. Then we flipped over to the offense. And this is what I did. When I called Steve, I went off. Okay. Matt Canada
he doesn't
has to go. He's got to go. The most brutal part of this game was the fact that, now look, Deontay Johnson made an incredible catch. Mm-hmm. Trubisky made a couple pretty good throws under pressure, but the play calling, and you guys tell me what you think about this, and let's stick to this right now, and then we can move on to the other aspects. Mm-hmm. The play calling by Matt Canada for the last 3 years, and don't give me the excuse Roethlisberger was a different kind of quarterback. Look, it sucks. The guy, all due respect to Matt Canada as a person, I don't know him, okay? And yes, he's a football expert, and I'm not. But I've only watched like 30,000 football games in my life. I've never seen a guy play, well, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. I've never seen there's no game plan. The players don't know what the game plan is. It's very obvious that he's calling it by the seat of his pants, depending on what, maybe he's got, okay, it's 2nd and 6, so I have a list of 10 plays. Okay, well, why are you only calling the same play over and over again?
Yeah,
I mean, you guys tell me where you come out on that.
Yeah, I just felt no imagination. If you run the ball to Claypool one more time, I mean, it doesn't surprise anybody.
Horrible.
That play call is supposed to be a surprise once a game.
Yes, or twice.
It was a surprise 6 times a game.
Yeah, right. 6 surprises.
Right. I mean, just no imagination. I thought it was a dreadful performance. I'll give it up to Trubisky because he did enough to complete a couple passes to set up a game-winning field goal.
I think Trubisky looked fine.
Let's be honest. Like, if it was Ben Roethlisberger out there, we would be saying, hey, Hall of Famer does it when it counts.
That's right.
You got him down the field. They won the game.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters, right?
I guess you're right about that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you're right about that.
That's absolutely right.
But he really was not great. But I also don't think he was put in position to be great.
I think I'm going to actually shock you guys. I think Canada played the right game. Look, this is what the Steelers are going to do.
That's not what you said on our phone call yesterday. You totally agreed with me.
I don't like the way the Steelers' offense is. But between that phone call and this very moment, I had an epiphany.
Oh, my God.
I did. And the epiphany is this. They did it on purpose. They don't want to make mistakes. They're going to let their defense win games for them, right? So how do you do that? You run, pass, run, pass, run, pass. And you don't pass the ball over the middle. You don't pass the ball deep down the other side of the field because that's where it gets intercepted. What do? You dink and you dunk. And the only time he kind of made a pass that was iffy was because the guy came over the line by 5 yards and he knew he had a free play. So that's where he threw the Freiermuth over the middle. This is what I'm sorry, Steelers Nation, but this is what the Steelers offense is. And if Najee's hurt, on top of that,
it's only going to get worse.
You're only going to see more dinking and dunking, and this is their strategy for surviving an offense that can be talented, but doesn't have enough talent in the quarterback position yet to be able to really throw it down the field like I think Kenny Pickett can.
And CD thinks you had a Canadian epiphany. Look,
this is, but I'm telling you, don't think like suddenly Canada's going to throw in some crazy stuff where they're going to start chucking it down the field 6 or 7 times a game. They're just not going to be that offense.
And that is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is just in general, there doesn't ever seem to be a game plan with this guy. It is the same scripted. Look, you've got an offense of seasoned NFL veterans now, some rookies, younger players, but it's the fact that when you go into this, they don't even come close to trying to establish a run. They try to establish jet sweep as the run, and you're just not. There's just no plan. I understand where you're coming from. Here's the whole defensive thing. I get.
Here's where he needs to get more creative. Inside of the red zone. Inside of the red zone is where you have to score touchdowns. They scored 3 field goals off of those turnovers. That's never going to work. And that's why the game got to where it did towards the end, because they let them stay in the game.
They did.
If you get even 2 touchdowns out of there, this game's over by the third quarter.
Right.
And that's what they got to figure out. They got to figure out when they get down to the 30-yard line and they know they can kick a field goal, how do we get it into the end zone then? And if they can't figure out a way, then I actually think they're in trouble anyways, but that offense is in trouble anyways. But that's what they're going to do. Yeah. I hate it, but that's what they're going to do. You have to come with me to this epiphany moment and enjoy it.
Well, here's the thing. I think that Canada doesn't trust his offensive line, and so he runs a very conservative offense. So there's kind of 2 sides to that. Is that the right thing to do, or do you got to play football aggressive? I'm kind of more along the lines of you got to be aggressive,
right?
And bad stuff happens. But, I just don't think he's a great coordinator. I think, you're supposed to make the guys that are in front of you better. And I don't know that he's made any offensive lineman any better.
I think they'll be more aggressive when they get down by more than like 10 points.
Well, they would have to be.
That's what's going to happen. That's the only way you're going to see the offense.
Every NFL team. So Richard says, how long till Kenny? It seems everybody would prefer him to start.
Really?
I don't think that's a question that is, and all apologies, Richard. I don't think that's a question worth answering now, because I go back to my previous comments. I think Trubisky played well. I think he played fine. I think the offense actually played fine. I just think the play calling was terrible, and that's my opinion, and we've been there. So let's move on to this real quick.
But to answer your question, how do I feel after the Steelers win in Cincinnati?
That's where I was going.
I feel great.
Yeah.
I mean, we just beat the AFC champs in their house.
True.
And they were favored by almost a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't kick their ass, but our defense kicked their ass.
Actually, yes. That was the point.
And they humiliated Burrow.
Oh, yeah, he did not look good.
Chase looked great, but they knocked out T. Higgins. They had a chance to win it twice, and they didn't.
Yes.
That Cincinnati team, I'm telling you, the Bungles are back, baby. They are not going to really like the way this season's going to go for them.
Here's the thing. Now, I'm kind of the belief of Steve is a win, and let's be happy with it.
Sure.
But at the same time, I do think that there are a lot of Steelers fans out there that are looking at the potential loss of TJ Watt as being a significant decline to future defensive performances. And I think a lot of people sort of felt like they won the game, but they lost the season. I
wouldn't go so that far yet, but
I mean, maybe if there's a miracle and Watt is back in 6 weeks, if they can hold maybe to a 3-3 or 3-4, 4-3, but I don't know. I think it's going to be really tough without TJ Watt and possibly Najee.
Yo says you need to play to win, not to catch up or stay close. Go all out or don't even play. Tim agrees with me. Canada needs to go. Jeff chimes in and says being able to dance in the locker room after that brawl shows some damn good physical conditioning. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. They left it all out on the field. They definitely did. How do I feel about this? It's kind of a toss up for me. I'm looking at it and saying, the defense looked like, not just Watt, everybody else did play better. And you can say that Watt brings that dimension that makes people better. But from what I saw in watching that defense, even if Watt is gone for the majority of the rest of the year, I still think the defense has a chance. Bush was making plays. He was making tackles.
He made 2 tackles.
He did, but he was around the ball a lot more.
Here's what I would say.
I mean, hey, come on. Bush played great.
He did.
But you have to agree. You can't take one game and say it's the season, especially the first game.
That's right.
Because the first game is when you catch teams sleepwalking.
That's
and
right.
I think the Bengals, certainly, it was a Super Bowl hangover type of performance. And the other thing is, like, guys, we got to be honest here, right? The defense may just be average. The reality is they're not going to have another game this year where they have 5 turnovers. They're not going to have another game where they have four interceptions.
Maybe not.
They're probably not.
Probably.
Alonzo Highsmith is probably not going to have a 3-sack game, right? Especially not with TJ Watt over there.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of concern still on the defensive side of the ball. And remember, you said that going into the season. So you're just going to throw all that out there because of one great defensive performance.
Well, he's a homer.
I'm just saying, you got to be realistic here.
Look,
I'm allowing him to do that because he's a homer.
What we all said at the beginning of the season was this defense needs to be elite, not just
for
good.
Them to win.
They have to be elite. They were elite yesterday, and they had to take the AFC champions to overtime, kick a donk field goal. They missed the field goal, block a PAT, but they still won the freaking game.
Yeah.
So the reality is they were an elite defense. If they can play at that level, they're going to be great. Now, they can't play at that level all year. I understand that. Everybody understands that. But this offense is going to get better. And they're not going to play the talent of a Jamar Chase. You guys love Joe Burrow. You think he's the greatest thing since maybe Justin Herbert. So I think they're not going to play against this type of talent all year long. So they're not going to have to bring this A game every night. But the loss of Watt for the season is, I'm going to call it right now, the loss of Watt for the season is a big thing. But I would rather have it happen in the first week as opposed to the middle of the season where there's nothing you can do about it. They can make some changes now to help that out. And honestly, Devin Bush played great. When was the last time he played great? Maybe his rookie year, right before he got hurt.
I wouldn't say he played great.
For him, he played great.
I got to be honest. I watched the game. I didn't even notice him.
That's why I said he played great. Because you didn't notice guys bowling him over.
Well,
you didn't see Joe Mixon running by.
Well, that is true. I didn't notice any bad.
That's right. That's when you notice it when he plays terrible like that.
And I happen to agree with Tim on this in this case. Let's see how the first 4 games play out and see if they open up the offense. I'm willing to give Canada a little bit more leash on that. And I and you're absolutely right. The first game, you can't take a whole lot out of one game out of a 17-game season. And then of course you have the Watt situation, and now Najee he's got an injury. They're saying that he might play again this week, but it's an injury that's going to nag him. And maybe we should have the doctor on.
The doctor said that Watt's injury is bad.
Right.
And he said that Najee's injury is not so bad. So
maybe
next week we'll have the doctor on.
Yeah, maybe we should have the doctor on to give us some opinions. We'll have a guest. So,
paging Dr. DeFlitch.
So
be on call.
Exactly. So, listen, guys, whatever you think about the game, we'd love to hear your opinion. Go to theporcheslive.com, sign up for our email newsletter. You can actually leave a message for us, and the little black button on the right-hand side says say something. Give us your thoughts on that. We'd love to hear them.
We have to put up this comment from
Amy Steve's going to put up Mark is being realistic about the Steelers. You two are not.
Amy, I am a fan. I will never be realistic about the Steelers.
as long as you can admit that.
In case you haven't figured that out yet.
As long as you can admit that.
And I don't know where the unrealistic part of my stuff is coming from. I'm just saying that Canada sucks. I thought the defense was great for this game, and I thought Trubisky played well. I just thought the play calling on offense was horrible, and we should have been out in front by a lot more.
Guys, it looks like we're going to need some more stars.
Yeah. Anybody want to? We need stars. You know,
can we find another doctor?
Click the little.
You're not the only doctor out there, Chris.
And Yo Carey, of course, is
undefeated. Thank you.
Yeah, undefeated. Absolutely.
That's where I was going next.
TJ gone is still. The doctor's opinion is TJ is gone until December. Thank you. Amy says Trubinsky did not play well.
Wow, not a Trubisky fan.
Yeah.
What don't you like about him,
All
Amy?
right.
Is it his terrible beard? Because that's what I don't like about him.
Yeah. All right, we're getting off topic.
His beard's got to go.
We got a lot to cover today. We got a lot to cover.
I mean, his wife can't like that beard.
Thanks for listening to us on American Busker iHeartRadio. Really appreciate it. And don't forget to catch our podcast and check out theporcheslive.com. We kind of covered Watt. That was going to be the next topic. Watt. Mm-hmm. Instead of talking about or speculating about his injury, because he's trying to get to a second and third opinion, and who the hell knows where that's going to go.
Nowhere.
Watching that defense yesterday, again with the caveat, one game. Okay, watching that defense yesterday, Watt's out for the season. Where do you think it goes? Does it just drop off a cliff, or does somebody step up?
No,
middle of the pack.
I think their secondary looked better yesterday in coverage.
For sure.
They're not going to have to cover Chase, Jamar Chase this week, so they got that going for them. Mm-hmm. They still are going to have to stop the run. So I don't know. I think they kind of got it easy in the next 3 games. You play against the Patriots, who look terrible in week 1. And I know we're not supposed to take anything away from week 1, but I'm going to say it. The Patriots are terrible. And then they play the Browns on the short porch. That could be a problem. And then they play the Jets. So if they can win 2 of those 3 and they go 3-1, you guys picked them to go 0-4. So I think that's pretty good.
No, we didn't pick them to lose to the Jets.
I did.
Okay.
All right.
3, but still,
moving on.
3-1 moving forward. I mean, so I think their defense just has to play okay. They don't have to play. Yeah. They're not playing against Burrow and Chase and Mixon.
Yeah. And CD says they become an average D, not elite without Watt. But you have to remember that this defense last year was dead last above average. Excuse me. Was dead last against the run last year. So, and it is only 1 game. So Najee Harris, his injury, I don't know. I mean,
he shouldn't have been playing in the preseason.
He probably shouldn't have played in that game.
Neither should Watt.
Yep.
Come on,
but
you guys are just baiting me.
It's the truth, though.
Now, here's one thing that we did not touch on, and we'll just breeze right over Harris because we'll see what happens next week. Yo Carey says, I can't believe they didn't challenge that touchdown for the win. I'm telling you right now, that's the first thing I said to Steve was, if there was any infraction,
didn't it not matter?
It did not matter because they scored a touchdown.
Because they scored a touchdown anyway.
So
but
what does it matter?
Well, but the pace of the game, that's the whole thing. It changes the trajectory. Yeah. But to me, that is a huge. I mean, you could talk about clock mismanagement. Tomlin has trouble with the clock. Look, you got a guy who caught the ball. His foot's in the end zone. The rule is very specific. That's a touchdown. The refs blew the call, so they're not going to review it because they didn't call it a touchdown, and you don't challenge that?
They said that wrong. If his foot's over the line,
that doesn't matter.
He's not in the end zone. The ball still has to be in the end zone.
I thought
but the ball was in the end zone.
Well,
I didn't think it was.
So that's what
there was an angle. The ball was in the end zone.
I go back to the third play of the game where Deontay Johnson looked like he clearly had the ball over the line, and they said no, was inconclusive. Why waste it? All they had to do was get 6 inches and get in.
Yeah.
They blew it on the next play when Mixon got blown up. Yeah. That's when they really blew it.
That's true.
So and they did end up scoring a touchdown anyways. But I do like to see the crying Bengal lady. So that makes me happy. And if that gives them more reason to cry about the loss, then so be it. Cry away, Cincinnati. Cry away.
Yeah, well, and that's what you have to take pleasure in. Absolutely. Okay. So one thing I want to point out that I thought was unbelievable was Johnson's catch.
Yeah,
Deontay Johnson's catch.
Incredible. Yeah.
I mean that To me, that was up there with an OBJ catch. That was unbelievable.
I mean, the crazy thing, though, is why is it that he can make those catches, but he can't catch it when it's right in his hands?
I don't know. Only he knows that. Only he knows
because he
that.
really does make a lot of spectacular catches.
Yeah.
Right.
He drops easy ones.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to make it hard.
You know what I think it is? Yeah, I think the ball is coming so hard.
Yeah.
He can get his hand on the ball that's like far enough away and pull it in.
Yeah.
It's easier than if it's right here.
Right.
And his hands just become too rigid.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in the right mode.
But we speculate.
Well, you know what?
We
Claypool
speculate.
had a really awesome catch too. It
He
didn't
did.
mean anything.
No, but he
his
did.
catch, he was like one-handed, falling down, reached back and grabbed it with one hand. I think it was only for 3 yards, so nobody really noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a pretty incredible catch yesterday too. The surprising thing was Pickens.
Yeah.
Totally not in the game plan at all.
I think he had 2 targets.
Yeah, I think it was 3 targets. He caught 1 ball for 3 or 4 yards, and that was it. But you know what? He did help out on that interference penalty in the end zone.
Yeah.
He was the one who did pull that.
And CD says, don't worry, Trubisky will make the hard catches all year.
Yeah, we'll get to see him all year. I agree with you.
All right. Moving on. We want to talk about some of the other games in the NFL.
What? There were other games?
Yeah, there were other games in the NFL.
Boy.
And
I heard your guys' teams won.
Yeah,
They
the
did.
Commanders, who cares? The Eagles look pretty good, except for the fact that Detroit was able to make a late comeback. You were scared about that. You were scared. Remember, you were worried that Detroit could surprise them.
I did, but then when they were up like 31-17, I wasn't worried about it.
You were
until it was 38-35.
It was over.
For some reason, I just felt like there's no way they're going to come all the way back, but they almost did.
Yeah, they
They
did.
almost
They really did. So let's talk about the Cowboys in the NFC East. Is it over? Is it over? Do the Eagles just walk through this division now?
Well, I don't think they're going to walk through the division. I mean, the Commanders might be better. Obviously their first-round pick wide receiver is very good. Carson Wentz has the ability. He just hasn't put it together. So he's a wild card.
Right.
And, hey, Giants went to Tennessee and won.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, I mean, if their field goal kicker could kick for the Titans, they don't
Right.
win. But, it didn't happen. So
Right.
they won. So, I imagine it'll be tight all year long. But I do think the Cowboys are done.
Well, I think Joe Perry has a brilliant idea.
I know, and I was just going to put that up.
I think we trade Mason Rudolph for Micah Parsons. It's the perfect trade.
Yeah, they'll do that all day long.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, right.
You know what? And we'll even throw in TJ Watt this year.
Yeah, this
How
year
about
only.
that?
Right.
How about
right,
that? Let's do that.
Right.
No, you're right. I mean, you think about losing Defensive Player of the Year, which is what the Steelers are facing potentially, and the Cowboys who are losing their starting quarterback, and they already have wide receiver issues.
Right.
That's a disaster. That's an absolute
Zeke
disaster.
looks done.
Yeah.
Zeke looked okay.
He actually looked strong in the beginning of the game.
With Pollard, I think those two can run the ball, but now if you're stacking guys in the box,
Right.
forget about it. You become a one-dimensional team. But who did you say their backup was?
Cooper Rush.
So, he's a 300-yard thrower.
One game.
Maybe he's their guy. And I
Yeah.
agree. Maybe they do need Mason Rudolph. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'd be happy to send him that way.
Yep. And that it's interesting that you bring that up because CD says the Giants and Commanders are not that bad. Cowboys are clear fourth.
Yeah, without Dak.
And once again, our favorite number 1 fan, DG, is in the house. Greetings,
David.
DG. Now there's talk, of course. Everybody immediately went to Garoppolo, but that whole Mason Rudolph thing, I think there's some potential there because the Steelers, they need draft picks. All right, next year's the year to draft an offensive lineman. Rudolph he's an experienced backup. I don't know.
If you're Dallas, are you saying Mason Rudolph is better than Cooper Rush?
Well, they're going to need another. They're going to need another.
But he's. I mean, here's the thing.
There's a lot of problems.
Right,
with that.
and honestly, I do actually think Mason Rudolph is better than Cooper Rush. However, he's not good enough that you're going to give anything for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Dak is going to be back.
Yeah, I mean, their mode right now is, let's go 4-4 and Dak comes back.
Hey,
Yeah,
they already have James Washington down there.
Yeah.
He's out for the year. You know
Yeah,
that?
he's out for the year.
Oh,
Yep.
that must
Yo says they could call up Cam Newton. That
they could.
They could.
They could.
They might.
Yep. And Jerry Jones, he does like to make a splash.
Mhm.
So
He's a splasher.
who knows? All
Cannonball!
right. All right. Well, now every day.
Wait, what about the Colts?
I know you're way ahead of me, buddy. You're way ahead of me.
I just
First
wanted
of
to
all,
make sure
how
we
did
were
we all do?
moving
How
on.
did we all do with our picks last?
Well, we're
week?
gonna do that. That's last when we make our picks. That's
Oh,
last when we
man.
make our picks.
Okay.
So the Colts. What did the Colts do? They tied, right?
The Colts tied.
Yeah, big
the
tie.
Texans.
Big
Yeah.
tie.
Yep.
Texans aren't
2020.
terrible though.
Well, Davis Mills looks like he has some skills. Mills has
terrible.
the skills.
Hmm.
The Mills
Well,
skills.
They might be terrible.
I mean, it's a bad loss for the Colts.
Well, it's a
You know,
bad tie.
For the Colts. Yes.
How can your starting running back run for 161 yards? Your starting quarterback throw for over 350 yards, and you only score 20 points.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
hard
a
to
problem.
do.
Understand
Yeah,
how
that's
that
a
can
problem.
happen.
It's pretty hard
Like
to do.
if the Steelers did that, they would have probably beat Cincinnati 42-20.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a thought: are we too quick to crown Frank Reich? I mean, just because he was the offensive coordinator of the Super Bowl champion Eagles. I mean,
it's got to get that in.
Are we giving him too much credit? I mean, everybody just says Frank Reich's the best. He's the best. Apparently it was Frank Reich that made Carson Wentz so good. What happened last year?
No, I agree with you.
You know what I mean?
I don't think he's
You've
that
got a
great.
point. You've got a point.
I mean, you can move the ball up and down the field all you want, but you got to get it into the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But
Well,
a lot of even Tom Brady had problems getting it in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did. He did. And he will
That was
in
that
the
was
foreseeable
that was-
future.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of problems getting it in. Yeah,
as well.
Yes,
As
he
well. And this is not a family show. All right. What do we think about the Packers losing to Minnesota? This looks like a replay of remember last year, opening day, the Packers got crushed.
Mhm.
I think they come back and they put it behind them. But it was a big win for Minnesota and Kirk Cousins.
But that's another one here. I mean, like, I heard a number of people saying today, like, Kirk Cousins could be the MVP this year. Like, come on, man. I mean, give me a break.
He
Like,
actually could.
we see this. Like, we see
Look
this.
at his weapon.
We see this every
Yeah, he does
year.
have-
Throwing the Jefferson, you can
Yeah.
win an MVP.
We see this every year from Kirk Cousins. He puts up great statistics, and they go somewhere between 7-10 and 10-7, and win either one playoff game or lose the first playoff game. I mean, they're nothing special.
No, the Vikings are going to be something special this year. And the reason I say, and I'm going to tone it down a little bit, because the Green Bay Packers just look not ready to play. I mean,
But they did last year. Same exact thing.
I know, but they have Devontae Adams last year too, and they don't. I mean, Alan Lazard's probably going to come back. Hopefully, he comes back for the Squirrels. I mean, the Green Bay Packers in week 2. Squirrels are my fantasy
Is that a new team, Squirrels?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Squirrels. But I mean, he's got nobody to throw to now. And on top of that, I mean, let's face it, Aaron Rodgers looks different. He's a different person now.
He's a hate the face, isn't he?
He's
What's
just
that?
different. I mean,
Hate
since
the face means he's so annoying and so unlikable that every time you see his face, you're just like, ah.
Is he on your list?
is that what all the kids
He
say?
might be.
Hate the face.
Yeah, hate the face.
All
You
the
never heard
kids
that?
say
You
that?
guys never heard that before? Hate
No,
the face?
no, but I'm going to use it a
not part
lot.
of the
Yeah.
kids.
Yep.
But so I think that's the problem with the Packers.
I'm going to think of you every time I think of that.
But they're going to get it together. Their run game looked pretty good, but I think the Vikings were ready. They're loaded for bear. That's a game they have to win coming right out of the gate, because if they want to challenge the Packers, they have to beat them. And the only way they're going to have a chance of beating them is beating them at home while they're got their B team.
By the way, little side note, I saw on Twitter, hilarious caption. They had a picture of Kirk Cousins doing his post-game press conference, and he was wearing a shirt, and the caption said, "This guy looks like he's rolling in Cole's cash."
Cole's cash.
That's awesome. Let me get some
Aren't we
comments.
all?
Let me get some comments in here. CD goes back to the 49ers, should play Jimmy G. Dan Rupert is going back to the Steelers game. Kenny, by game 3 or 4, Chicago got rid of Mitch for a reason. I think we all disagree with you there right now.
Correct.
Carey enjoyed laughing at Mayfield, talk shit, then got beat by Team Pooh. Chris Jackson says Mitch is a good QB. The play caller ain't no good. Totally agree with you. Carey says Seattle is booing the shit out of Russell Wilson. Not surprised. Todd Ross chimes in. The Cowboys looked bad last night, and I'm a big Steelers fan. We're happy you're here. One more from CD. The Packers will be below 500 this year. Rodgers is doing too many shrooms.
He does look like that, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he probably is doing lots of shrooms. So,
he found his Zen garden.
Now, here's one more game we want to get in here and talk about a little bit about. I watched this game yesterday because our fantasy team, obviously, we have Pat Mahomes. The Chiefs kicked the ever-loving crap out of the Cardinals. Now, I think this game shows that we talked about this before the season started. Did Tyreek Hill make Patrick Mahomes, help to make him? I mean, they're both very skilled.
Yes.
Or did Patrick Mahomes make Tyreek Hill?
Yes.
And Mahomes, he's got it going on.
I think we all knew that. That's not a surprise.
Right. It's not that it's a surprise, but it was kind of like when you have somebody as dynamic as Tyreek Hill, he made Tua look pretty good yesterday.
Well,
so
but I've always felt that, Mahomes is one of those guys that, like, it's hard to think about starting a receiver on that team because Mahomes can throw it to anybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, and he does have. I mean, Kelsey is arguably the best tight end in the game. So
no argument.
So that's a top weapon.
Yeah.
right.
Right. And you've got, his receivers aren't stars, but they're serviceable.
Right.
And the types that he will actually make better.
Right. Well, and we have a Steelers connection. Schuster, how about that fumble? Did that remind you of something Smith-Schuster?
Yeah, he caught a nice ball. He
took 2 steps.
He was running 15 yards. Looks like he's going to break in the open field. Fumble.
Poof. Yeah, and the ball goes out. But I do think that his statistics this year are going to be remarkably better.
I'm sure they will.
Because Mahomes is obviously targeting him.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get a touchdown yesterday, but is probably the best receiver on the team.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter
because Mahomes is throwing the ball. Clearly, Kelsey is the best.
He's going to get the most.
On that team.
Yeah.
But Kelsey at some point during the season will get injured because he's an old man at this point.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because they've got some young guys willing to step up. They actually played 2 tight ends now on Kansas City, which is bizarre.
Yeah, that is bizarre.
But
you're right.
But it's working for them. So that's one thing I like about Andy Reid. And I know he's not maybe the greatest coach of all time. I mean,
he's up there though.
He's good
up there.
But he's willing to change his game around for the people who are in the game.
Right.
And that's what I think is going to be fun to watch about Kansas City this year. They are going to still pass the ball.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna have some running. They got Edwards-Helaire got 2 touchdowns like that yesterday. Yeah. And so he's going to be more in the game. I like that team a lot. I really
what's not to like?
Their defense isn't that great. And that's
Chris Jones. I mean, he's a beast.
No Tyrann Mathieu.
That's true.
No
the Honey Badger is gone. Where did he sign? I can't remember. Saints. That's right. New Orleans.
Yeah,
right.
But I mean, that's what's fun about watching Kansas City. They're going to have to score 28, 35 points because their defense is probably going to give up 24.
Yeah. All right. So before we move on to last week's predictions and what our records are and the upcoming predictions for this upcoming week, we got a lot of comments coming in. We love your comments. This is one of the only interactive sports shows out there that's live on social media.
That's why we're on the porch.
And that's why we're on the porch. So Dan Rupert says 7 sacks. I guess he's talking about the Steelers game. DG says maybe I'm the only one, but I was not super impressed with the biscuit. He's adopted the Turd Biscuit name for Trubisky. No, it wasn't about him not being impressive. I just think he played well. More of a comment on how poor the Cardinals are in talking about that Chiefs game. I think you're right. Dan Rupert says 7 sacks, 5 forced turnovers by our defense. We would have lost if it wasn't for the blocked extra point. Yes, we know. The offense was offensive. Back to the Steelers again. We're a little heavy on Steelers this week, as always. So moving on, every week we are going to pick 3 games. We're going to pick the Thursday night game, the Sunday night game, and then one floating game. We're going to add our records up And at the end of the year, one of us is going to have to do something ridiculous. I just made that up, but
I'm feeling like I had a first place finish.
Last week,
Didn't I?
Last week, we all did. Last week, we
like
picked the
kissing your
Bills at
sister.
the Rams, and Steve and Chris picked the Bills.
Bills.
Mark picked the Rams.
And they did look horrible.
I'll tell you what, I'm not so sure that they didn't look great, but I'm not so sure that it wasn't the Bills just looking fantastic.
Yeah, I think the Bills defense is better than you got to give credit
yeah,
for.
that Bills team looked incredible.
Yeah, you know what?
And I picked them to win the Super Bowl.
Stafford's got to look somewhere other than Coop.
Peaking too soon.
Yeah,
10-0 start.
Game one
Done.
Yeah. All right. You're that's coming from the Colts.
Wait, the Steelers started like.
So next game we picked was a Sunday night game, Bucks at the Cowboys, and myself and Mark picked the Bucks. Steve picked the Cowboys because he actually picked them to go to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah,
and
not looking good there.
Not looking good.
Raiders at the Chargers. I took David Carr because I don't want to just pick my man crush on a whim. And these two guys picked the Chargers, and that leaves
never pick Carr over her.
Right now. We are all 2-1.
Yeah,
we're all
place,
2-1.
We are all 2-1.
You're
Put that up on the
2-1.
ticker there.
Oh yeah, first place.
That's our record right now. 2-1. 2-1. So
just three really good football minds.
Yes. And how can it not be? We've watched 30,000 football games.
No, I did the math. It's more like 10,482.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you do? How did you do that?
Well, I figured
one game a week.
2 games, depending on when you started watching. It could be 16 to 14 games a week. Multiply it by 16. Do it over about 15, 20 years, and you get there.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't need a slide rule for that?
No, it's all up here.
All right. Okay. So
somebody check me on that.
This week we have the Chargers at the Chiefs on Thursday, the Bears at the Packers on Sunday, and
Kyle's back.
We decided, what's up, Kyle? Put that up there for us.
What's up, Kyle?
Kyle Haynes from Atlanta. Welcome back to the porch, baby. We miss you, buddy.
You missed the TB2 12 talk, so we're not going back.
Yeah. Hey guys, how's my fantasy team gonna do? I don't know. You'll have to send us your thing. Hey, Pittsburgh hometown boy Michael Keaton just won an Emmy. Mr. Mom Forever. Thank you for bringing that up. So Mark, Chris, and Steve, we're all tied
to pick this week
at 2-1. Let's start with Chargers at Chiefs
Chargers
on
at
Thursday
Chiefs.
night.
Woo! You want to take this one first, Mark?
Yep. I'm going to say
That's a tough one.
That's a tough
pump
game.
the brakes. Chiefs win.
Playing in Kansas City, right?
Yep.
Thursday night game. Hometown crowd's all pumped up. Herbert comes in and beats him.
Ooh. He says, don't pump the brakes. Push the pedal down.
Herbert,
I got to tell
400
you,
yards passing.
I got to tell you, this is
There's
It's
love
going to hurt,
behind-
though,
there's
because
love
Keenan
behind your
Allen's
pick.
out.
There's
But
love.
I think they
There's
can do
love in your heart right now, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys know. I got a man cry. You know, he's doing commercials now and he looks fine. He's
He's
fire.
got great hair.
He's
we,
fire.
We didn't ask for
His
that.
hair rivals my hair, I might say.
It does.
We
It
didn't
does.
ask for any of this.
Yeah, I know you didn't. I'm actually gonna go. You know what? Oh God, I
Come on,
can't.
you
Can we
gotta go.
delay my pick? Can I wait?
No,
Move on.
now.
I gotta
Make it
pick
now.
right now. Gun to your head.
Gun to your head.
Last meal of
Pick.
your life. I'm going with the Chiefs.
There you go.
Ha
I'm
ha!
going with the
1-0. Here we
Chiefs.
go, first place.
I love you, Bobby Herbert, but you know, is that really his name, Bobby
Bobby
Herbert?
Hebert.
Bobby.
No, there was a Bobby Hebert.
There was an Hebert. Yeah.
Not Robert
Let's see.
Herbert.
Yeah. So yeah, and of course Kyle's like, make it, Chris, make it. CD says KC's a tough place to play, loudest and best barbecue.
Well, we're not talking about barbecue here. We're talking about football.
Kyle says Chiefs versus Chargers, obviously the Pirates.
Well, yeah.
Todd Ross is going to log in saying Chiefs, Packers, and Steelers. So, okay, so Chargers, Steve, Chiefs, Chris, and Mark. Next game, Bears at the Packers on Sunday night.
Well, I think the Bears got their win in, and I think it's time for them to get their loss.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not thrilled about this pick. I actually think the Bears can win this game, but if the Packers lose to the Bears, you might as well put them in the Dallas Cowboys. territory
Yeah.
because they're not gonna survive losing 2 divisional games like that. I'm going with the Packers.
I'll take the Pack as well. I just can't see it happening.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm going to go with Packers too. That was too easy. All
That was a
right.
little easy.
Sunday wild card game for us. Dolphins at the Ravens.
Interesting game.
Dolphins at the Ravens. Yeah, the Dolphins did not look too bad.
But the Ravens look better. I'm going with the Ravens. Baltimore over the Ravens are taking out the Fins.
It's a tough one. I'll go with the Ravens. I'll say in the early go. And Miami is every year, like, they kind of have that like 1-8 start, and then they win 7 in a row.
Yeah, or they go 0-4.
Right.
They're like suddenly 6-4.
Right. So I feel like Miami's got to lose a few here before they start their run. So I'm going to go with the Ravens.
All right, and I'm going with the Dolphins.
Just to be different, or
just to be different,
or was there intelligence behind
No. I think the that's a rare thing. That's a rare
intelligence.
thing. No, I think that Tua finally has a group of receivers around him that he can throw to. I think they've got a decent running game. He's a talented quarterback. Their coach is pretty dynamic. He's going to throw a few wrinkles in there. I am not. Just because I'm a closet Steelers fan, it doesn't mean that I don't think I'm not a Ravens hater, but I am not a fan of the Ravens. I'm not a Lamar Jackson kind of guy. He's got the skills, all that kind of crap, but I just don't see him as the ultimate winner. I just don't think that. I think the Dolphins are an up and coming team, and I think Jackson is way too focused on the dollars.
Well, he's playing without a contract.
Yeah.
Turned down $250 million to play without a contract.
Yeah.
By the way, the Dolphins coach looks like a second grade teacher.
He does. He does, but a very smart one.
Hey, we didn't pick the Steelers score. Do we care?
What do we got? We got Steelers, Patriots. We're not including that in our records because we got
No.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Actually, Steelers Patriots. Belichick off an 0-1 start, and the Steelers at home.
Both you guys had them losing.
With a hobbling group.
Yeah.
So,
true. Do we have to stick to that, or do we change it?
I think you can change it, but it doesn't really matter because your prediction is still your prediction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I still have the Steelers losing that game. Belichick is a chess player, and right now with all the potential injuries on the defense and the offense and the play calling, Belichick is brilliant at saying, we're going to isolate this guy, we're going to pound it on this side, and when you just go coach for coach, Belichick outcoaches Tomlin in this one. I'd like to see the Steelers win. I just want to go on record saying I hope they win, but I don't think they're going to.
I think it's going to be like one of those 18-15 games, no touchdowns, only field goals.
Yeah.
Could be.
That's very true.
I'm telling you, it just feels like that's where it's going to be headed.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll stick with the pick, but I certainly feel like the Steelers have a better chance than I did before the start of the season.
All right. Hey,
so
we got a special guest.
Oh,
Bobby G. What's up, boys?
Bobby
Good to
G.
see you guys, and go Birds. What's up, Bobby G?
Where in the world are you, Bobby G?
Every Monday at 7:30. Every Monday at 7:30.
6 field goals, CD.
Catch
6
us here.
field goals.
Let's go back and get some of these comments in. Yo, Carey says Bears Packers is a tie.
We've never thought about that.
The doctor says get healthy game for Pack. Tell Rodgers to throw at the guy in the middle. That's hilarious. Kyle, of course, Atlanta is unstoppable. Go Hawks, I think.
It's the Falcons.
It's the Falcons.
That's good. We'll take it, Kyle.
That's their NBA team, Kyle. CD says Dolphins, heart over brains. I'm with you, buddy. Todd Ross says Ravens didn't play anyone yesterday. Jets sucks. CD's back with I'm a Ravens hater, go Fins. Todd Ross agrees with me. And CD's really involved. Maybe we'll win by a safety. Yo, Carey thinks Boswell can beat the Patriots if Biscuit. I can't say that. I just can't. If Trubisky can get them over the 50-yard line.
We know what Yo Carey means.
So let's recap really quick. Chargers, Chiefs. Chris and Mark with the Chiefs. Steve with the Chargers. Bears, Packers, all of us got the pack. Dolphins, Ravens. I'm the lone Dolphins guy. These two have the Ravens. And that being said, visit theporcheslive.com. If you like this coffee mug, visit the store. Send us a message. Leave us a message. Say something. Thanks for listening to us on American Busker iHeartRadio. You got one. You got what? A mug? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I got a mug.
I thought maybe you
had.
I
got a shirt.
I got a mug and a shirt.
We're thinking about hats. Hats could be nice.
Yeah, let's get a couple more comments in here because I always seem to. We need the diva, says Kyle. Maybe someday. No Brady anymore. Steelers win. We love merch. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Buy it up, Kyle.
And with that, we're going to cue up the music, and I'm going to look at you guys and say, are we done? Oh, no. Whoa.
I can't believe you almost skipped.
I know.
Oh, pump the brakes.
Pump the brakes. The Sports Porch is not over.
Hold on. Let me make sure the music is off.
The best part is yet to come.
That's right. So now we're going to move on to something.
Fans, what we're watching.
We're going to move on to something right now. Headlines that mean something.
This will be simple.
Yep.
Headlines that mean something. We scour the internet highway every week to find headlines that mean something to us. And I'm going to put Mark's first headline up. We're going to start with Mark. You want to start with you? Is that what you want?
Come on.
You want to start with you? Okay.
Mine's simple.
We're going to start with Steve because Steve is simple.
I'm a little needy tonight. All right. How do you think about this one? A coyote found hiding in Ohio family's bathroom. How would you like to come home
and see a coyote
and be like, "What's that noise?" You're going to the bathroom.
that happens to me all the time. Maybe you had a few
beers, you were out, you had to come back, and you're like, got to go to the bathroom, so you're running up to the bathroom. You open the door, and there's a coyote in there. What do?
Run.
You say, "Here, coyote. You're a nice coyote."
Yeah, nice coyote. So you do what this family did. They called 911.
Mm-hmm.
And then they, of course, took a picture of the coyote and put it on Facebook.
Right, which is, I think, what we're seeing.
Obligatory.
What we're seeing.
The rest of the world
wants to
see it.
I can't really see the coyote.
Yeah, it seems like a small coyote.
Yeah. And they got the coyote out. And the police came, and the coyote was gone, and everything went back to normal.
All right. Chris CD says, here, kitty. All right. Headline number 2. Mark, this is funny. All right, Mark, lay it on us.
All right. Viral TikTok corn kid Tariq honored as South Dakota's corn ambassador. Yeah. So if anybody doesn't know, Corn Kid has gone viral.
Oh, yeah, we saw it.
Seems a really funny song.
The juice.
Yeah, corn has the juice, and everything changed with butter, right?
Yeah.
And for those of you who want to know, what they said here in South Dakota was Tariq loves corn and encourages everyone to try it, even if it's only one bite. And the world's only corn palace is in South Dakota.
There you go.
And he came down. They brought his family out from New York City, gave him a key to the city, a key to the corn palace.
Wow, that is awesome.
And everything changed. Things are looking good.
If you haven't seen the video,
Corn Kid,
Google it and watch it. It's great.
And CD's comment is precious. Okay. I like headlines that are a little offbeat. And this week, I found one. There, I actually printed out some notes on it because
it needs some explanation.
I'm going to read you a story.
It always needs some explanation.
Here's my headline that means
Grandpa Chris.
Here's my headline that means something. Florida man on drugs kills imaginary friend and then turns himself in. That is Jeff Gaylord.
Hey, that's taking responsibility.
Hold on.
It.
The 30.
His friend's not going to tell on him. I can tell you that.
I actually call this guy the most honest guy in the room. All right. The 37-year-old entered the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office Tuesday and turned himself in. For all you looking for the story, it's actually like 2 years old. It wasn't the other day. For killing his imaginary friend, Mr. Happy. His room was a mess all the time with his toys and dolls, he told the police.
Oh,
He left his empty vodka bottles all over the kitchen, never picked up his empty cocaine baggies, and left the toilet seat down when he peed. He messed up my apartment to the point where I just couldn't get it clean. Before Hap started doing drugs and acting weird, he was my BFF. We'd go dancing, play on the children's park equipment. Both huge fans of doom metal, listen to it for hours with the lights turned off. That's with his imaginary friend. Police said Gaylord was extremely intoxicated and threatened to kill them after they told him they could not give him the death penalty for killing his imaginary friend. They searched his house and found drug paraphernalia and a machine gun.
Oh, boy.
Gaylord was booked on multiple charges, but not murder.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I can imagine with some of those multiple.
That's a real good
That
one.
was a great
some
one.
great comments, by the way.
Yeah,
on
get
that
him up
article.
there, Steve. Get him up there. I have a
Bobby
similar.
G saying he's got a similar photo of Chris with the one day to go party.
You
back in the
probably
day.
do. Yeah, I agree. Please don't post it.
Bing Bong is dead, and maybe my favorite. Was he a Jaguar? I think you already know the answer to that question if
All
you're
right.
asking it, Todd.
All right. Headlines that mean something. All right. Moving on. Now we're going to talk about what we're watching. Why do we do this? Well, because we watch a lot of stuff. And sometimes we find some good stuff we think you should watch. And we just want to tell you about it. So this time we're going to start with Mark. And Mark is currently watching.
Went to the movies this weekend, saw The Invitation.
You can still go to the movies.
Yeah, you can.
Wow.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. It's a vampire movie, and it was decent. Wasn't great, but, you know, if you like vampires, you'd probably enjoy it.
All right. Okay,
I think
moving
that says
on.
it all.
Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
does. That's very concise.
Mhm.
Steve,
How much are tickets these days at the movie theater, Mark? Did you go to the matinee?
I always go to the matinee.
Yeah.
Where you get the low price.
Mhm.
But to be honest, I always get that and corn and popcorn and a drink.
Of course.
And I never really break down what the difference is. So
It's
I don't
a
even know.
jumbo
I don't
package.
even know.
Mark goes for the jumbo.
it has the juice and butter. All right, Steve is watching.
Tales of the Walking Dead.
Oh,
you
is that-
guys know about
Has
these?
that started, right?
Yeah, so I guess they have I've only watched 3 episodes, but I think there are 4 or 5 that are out.
Okay.
For some reason, my DVR, yes, I still have a DVR, is not recording them. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch a couple. No, they're really good.
Are
And
they?
What I like about them is they go to the old school Walking Dead,
Okay.
where you don't know, I think one of them was kind of pre when
Oh,
it
really?
just got started,
Uh-huh.
and then some of them were clearly they've been in it for a while and they have some PTSD associated with it, and yeah, they're great. They're
Really?
they're great, and they're an hour,
Mhm.
but they're just for that. That's all it is. It's just one episode and that's it.
Like that.
That's
It's
it.
one show
It's
on
one
its own.
show. You get closure from the beginning to the end, so
Yeah.
you know what happened.
Okay,
and
cool.
The whole thing. Really, really well done.
Kyle chimes in. Not more Walking Dead. Negan was the best. Keyword was. Okay, what I am watching now is something that I just picked up. It's got 3 seasons, and it is Shooter on Netflix, starring Ryan Felipe, and it's about a former Marine sniper did tours in Afghanistan. One of his old buddies now works for the CIA, comes back, asks him to do a favor. He gets pulled into this controversy and accused of a lot of stuff. And then, of course,
I liked Shooter.
yeah,
I
it's a
enjoyed
good
it.
show. And of course, one of the things that I pointed out, I was talking about it on another show, was I think it's really funny how all these heroes and these innocent dudes resort to murder, mayhem, and revenge to prove their innocence.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like you get wronged and then you commit every heinous crime in the book to prove you're innocent, and then they let you go.
Well, no, it does make sense because the people that you're killing are bad people.
Right. And
Well,
if that was the case,
themselves.
I'd be a serial killer. Okay. And you
Pull out
have
the
the checklist. You got
Pull
it.
out the checklist.
You got it. All right. That being said, I think that
It's going to be a wrap.
The
now,
crickets are starting
yeah.
to chirp. It must be getting late.
Now
on
I
the
can
porch.
put the porcheslive.com up there and say, visit our website, leave us a message
Go
on the
there.
website, a voicemail to say anything. Check out the store, buy the merch, send us an email, send us a comment. And next week, we're going to have a special version of the porch. I think Steve is going to be the technical director.
That could be trouble.
I will be out of town. I will actually, DG, if you're still watching, I'm going to be down in Palm Beach, so we're going to have to connect up. And I may make a guest appearance on my own show.
Oh, how about
Well,
those?
only if we send you the link.
Yes, only if I'm invited and only
Right.
if my wife lets
And
me.
if your wife says okay.
You guys heard her. She said it was cool.
I think she was like
Yeah,
thinking like you
that-
were
that's-
going to do it.
Yeah, that's
actually.
with us here.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll wear the maybe I'll wear the Periwinkle shirt. How about that?
You know, she tries to come
Hey,
off all
April from
wonderful with
Canada.
us.
Ah.
Behind
Came in
the
right at the
scenes.
end, April.
And April is back in the house. Love from Canada. Thanks. Kyle's going to ask Lauren to verify. CD says, great show, boys. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Bringing the music up. That's the Sports Porch. We love the fact that you're here. We love you all, guys. Stay real, and we will catch you next week.